Hey everybody, and welcome to an Orchard Student Ministry small group. We are so glad that you have chosen to hang out with us tonight. Here's what you can expect. We will have a time of worship, so feel free to sing along. We'll have a message about a topic from the Bible, so pay attention to that. And then as soon as that message is over, we will break up into a small group time where we discuss the topic that we talked about and see how it applies to our lives. Again, we're so glad you're here. If you're new, make sure you tell your small group leader so that way they can welcome you and get you something for you, a free gift from us. Enjoy the service, guys.
guys? It's Aaron. We're here at Orchard Church Studios, and today we are talking about Family Matters. We're continuing our series called Family Matters. Man, families really do matter. I'll tell you guys a little bit about my family. When I was a kid, growing up, my parents split up when I was 4 years old. My dad was just gone, and then we moved to a different state. My mom married another guy, and I didn't like that guy as much as my dad, and I was living with them, and then my mom and my stepdad had another kid, and so then I had a third brother, and he was my half brother, and I had a stepsister, and we lived with her for a while, and then my dad got remarried, and I went to live with him, so we moved back to Colorado, and I had to eat weird Chinese food because my stepmom's from Hong Kong, and they eat seaweed over there, seaweed. And so when I was growing up, man, life was just really complicated, and things were always changing, things were always different. And I think for me, I just lost a sense of my identity of who I was. I didn't really know who I was because who I was different like all the time. So I don't really know how it is with your family, but I think one thing that all families have in common is that every family is fractured in some way. I mean, some of you guys, you're growing up and you're missing one of the primary members of your family. Maybe it's a mom or a dad or a brother or a sister. Others of you guys, you live with all of the primary members of your family, but there's some big problem. Like there's an issue with somebody's behavior. Maybe it's inappropriate behavior of some type, abusive behavior, manipulative behavior, addictive behavior, things like that. And I think all of our families have this in common where there's some type of fracture, some type of dysfunction that we have to deal with. And that's common in just about every family. So this is true not only in today's day and age in America, but this has been true for a really long time. And even if you go back into the Bible days, you'll see family after family that has these types of fractures. In fact, if you go into the Bible days, there's these two guys named Jacob and Esau. And Jacob and Esau are the grandchildren of Abraham, who was called the father of faith. And so you want to talk about a messed up family. Jacob and Esau are Isaac's sons. And Esau is a guy who, he's kind of like a manly man. He's the oldest of the two. He was a real hairy dude, and he's just kind of a manly guy. He likes to go hunt and go play football and just wrestle and that kind of thing. And he was just a manly dude. And then Jacob is basically like the exact opposite of Esau. Jacob is kind of like your classic mama's boy, and he likes to stay home with mom and cook and that kind of thing. And so that's who Jacob was. And so you've got this scenario in Genesis 25 where Esau is out hunting, and he must have been out there for days because he comes back, and apparently he had really mismanaged his food situation because he's basically starving when he comes back. And he finds Jacob, and Jacob just happens to be cooking. He's making this stew when Esau gets back. And so Esau basically tells Jacob, bro, I'm starving. Like, I'm so starving that I'm about to die. If I don't eat in the next few minutes or something, I'm probably gonna die. Now, this is a weird situation because if I'm Esau, I'm gonna go up to Jacob's stew and I'm gonna be like, mine, right? Like, you're in the way, get out of the way, I need some food. That's not what Esau does. This is a really strange situation. Esau tells Jacob, hey man, I'm starving, like I'm about to die. Can I please have some of your stew? He's asking him. And so this is what Jacob does. Jacob sees Esau in all of his weakness. He sees Esau in all of his vulnerability. And in a true younger brother fashion, Jacob makes a savage plan to steal Esau's birthright. Now, here's what you need to understand. In the Bible days, a birthright was something that was really special. It was something that was handed down from a father, and the oldest son in a family would have the right to that birthright. And it was like a special blessing from God that was passed down from a father to his son so that the son's family could have it. And so Esau, being the older son, had the rights to the birthright. And Jacob knew this, but he wanted the birthright even though he didn't have the rights to it. So Jacob tells Esau, when Esau is starving to death, okay, I'll give you some of my stew, but you've got to give me your birthright. And so Esau apparently is a terrible negotiator, and he just agrees to it. Maybe he was thinking in the back of his head, I'm not really going to give Jacob my birthright, but I'll just tell him I will. Maybe that's what was going on, but he goes ahead and he agrees to it. And so Jacob does give him some stew, and Esau does tell Jacob that he can have his birthright. So some time goes on, and finally their father Isaac is getting ready to die, and Jacob goes in and he pretends he's Esau, and Isaac gives Jacob the blessing. He gives him the birthright. And so of course, as soon as Esau finds out about this, he not little mad, he big mad. He's very mad. In fact, he's so mad that he wants to kill Jacob, and he announces that he wants to kill Jacob. And so I mean, this is crazy, right? This is what happens in one of the families that is in the royal bloodline to Jesus. I mean, Jesus came from this family. This is crazy. So here's the thing about God. God has a long history of dealing with dysfunctional families like this. If you look in the Old Testament, all of these families that lead up to the royal bloodline of Jesus, King David, and all the way up to Jesus, all of these families have some type of dysfunction to them. And the thing about God is, God doesn't run away from them. God doesn't discount them. God doesn't count them out. God embraces them even in all of their dysfunction and in all of their fracturedness to their families. God still uses them. God still blesses them. God still wants them to succeed. And I think that's true not just in the Bible families and the royal bloodline of Jesus, but in your family and in my family. I think that if you believe that God can use your family, that can be one of your greatest acts of faith. In fact, here's our bottom line for the night. Your family matters even when it's fractured. Guys, God is working all the time, even when it doesn't feel like it, even when it doesn't seem like it. God is working. He's working in you. He's working in your family. And He wants you to succeed, even if you feel like you're a dysfunctional mess sometimes, even if you feel like there's such a big fracture in your family sometimes, God is still working in the background. And it's so easy for us to count ourselves out. You have a relationship with everybody in your family, and sometimes those relationships can get broken. Somebody makes a dumb decision, right? Somebody does something stupid. But you carry that with you. You carry that along with you, and sometimes it's easy just to say, man, I don't know how we're ever gonna fix this. I don't know how this is ever gonna get any better. And so you just live with it day after day after day. And this is what happens. Then you start counting yourself out from your relationship with that other person. You start counting yourself out from being able to be used by God. You think that your family's just gonna stay dysfunctional forever. Man, it doesn't have to be that way. Like I said, God is going to embrace your family even in the midst of this hot mess that's been created because people aren't perfect. Your family's not perfect, but God wants to embrace your family anyway. Redeeming and fixing things that are broken is what God does best. God specializes in damaged goods. And when your family is facing dysfunction, when your family is in the middle of a mess, when your family is going crazy and you feel like, oh my goodness, it's never gonna go back to the way it was. It's never gonna be the same as it was when I was growing up and I thought my family was great, and now we've got this crazy mess. Guys, God has a way of restoring things in a way that you cannot imagine. God loves to do things like this. This is what God does best. And you've got to believe that God can do that in your family the same way that He's done it in all of these families leading up to Jesus, all of these families after Jesus. God specializes in this, guys. What kind of God can do something like this? This is the God that we serve. This is the God that we love. This is the God of the Bible, the one true God, the God that created the heavens and the earth. He's rooting for you. He's looking down on you and saying, I'm ready to help you. So here's what you guys need to know. We're getting ready to head into our small groups, and probably everybody in your group is dealing with some type of dysfunction or fracture. and their family. And so let's embrace each other tonight. Let's talk about these things tonight, and let's let God do something awesome in us and in our families tonight. Love you guys. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, guys, as you break up into your small groups, don't forget to make sure you follow us on social media and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that way you can stay up to date with everything going on with Orchard Student Ministry. And if you have any questions about what it looks like to follow Jesus or be a disciple, make sure you ask your small group leader, and they would love to talk to you and tell you what that is all about. Have a great night, guys.